Morning, y'all. It's Julie, the Gulf Coast Stitcher here. Today is Friday, August 31st, and I've got lots to go over today. I did bring notes, but it seems like things are way more scattered when I try to use them, so we'll see how it goes. What else exciting happens on August 31st? Ozark returns for season 2. I'm so excited. We have been waiting for that. That's the trouble when you binge watch something and you love it. Then what happens? You have to wait. But, that's first world problem, I suppose. It is horribly thundering and dark here. If you hear weird rumbles, it's not my tummy, although I am kind of hungry this morning. I shot a little live video outside. It's windy, it's raining, so that's why I have my hair in the Kimmy Gibbler clip. Those of you my age will know who Kimmy Gibbler is. But real life, right? No time to go fix all that. So, shout outs. In my last Flosstube video, I gave credit to Mrs. Venzel for the Eat That Frog book recommendation. However, she corrected me quickly and said, don't give me credit for that. That was Julie, the Seussical Stitcher. How could I not remember that it was Julie? And I'm Julie. I don't know. But that's kind of addressed in this book. So I know I talk a lot about books and podcasts, and I'll talk some more about that in a minute. But Eat That Frog. Y'all, I'm not an Amazon affiliate. I don't plan on becoming one anytime soon. But you can buy this on Amazon for less than $10. I got my brand new copy, including 3rd edition with 2 new chapters. And I'm about halfway through. I'm actually going to do a presentation on this in my organizational leadership class. I love it. My kids tell me if they hear about the frogs anymore, they're going to flip out, but eat your frogs. Sometimes eating your frogs can just consist of, I've got to get up today, take a shower, get the housework done. That's a frog for a lot of people. It is for me. So anyway, eat your frogs. I'm doing this Flosstube video as a frog for me. Not because I don't love it, but because if I don't jump on it and get it done, it's not going to happen. Today is a heavy, heavy homework day for me. And yes, Kef, I take 5 classes at school, not online. And it's a lot with the kids and the man and the house and the chores and the bills. And yeah, so I really... that book came to me at the exact right time because I need something to help me stay on task, stop procrastinating, prioritize getting things done, and sometimes that means turning off Flosstube when I don't want to. But I'm getting there. I'm getting there one chapter at a time. I'm learning some great tips. So shout outs. Julie the Seussical Stitcher. She only has 2 videos out, but they're awesome. Her editing is amazing. I don't edit. You get what you get here. I am guilty of stopping and restarting if I say something ridiculous within the first 3 minutes of my video, but other than that, it is what it is. Today, I took a shower. I went out, took a shower, went outside, sat on the porch, filmed that video, got dressed in fresh pajamas. So that's what kind of day today is going to be. It is a heavy homework day. If it continues to storm and rain, that means that Dan's going to come home because he's not going to be able to do lawn service in this kind of weather, which is going to really rearrange my day because I've got a ton of homework to do. And he's so awesome and doesn't mind tiptoeing around, but I always do my homework sitting right here. I have an office. Well, not an office. I have a bedroom with a desk in it. But this is my spot where I do my homework. This is where I do my shop work. It's where I manage the website. It's where I do the homework. I mean, the kitchen is right here. The coffee is right here. The view is right here. It's a great vantage point when you're in the house. So yeah, I have to go to my office when he comes home if I have homework to do because I squirrel out and I can't focus because I end up wanting to talk to him about other stuff and blah, blah, blah. So, what else? Another shout out. Stitching Farmer Elena. My friend Robbie is not on Flosstube. One day maybe. She watches a lot of Flosstube, and she was like, oh my gosh, this girl lives in Niceville, which is where I go to school and where Robbie lives. So I finally got around to checking her out yesterday. She's a pharmacist here locally, and she does, what do you call those? Like BAPs, I guess. She has a lot of BAPs. She has chatelaine, beautiful stitching on Nora Corbett's and Mirabilia's, and all of those, like, the more beads the merrier charts. I want to be there. I'm working on it. I definitely have purchased them and have them lined up ready to go, but haven't done that yet. So check out her. Tracy P had this Jam Up Live sale last Sunday, I think it was. I only got 2 things. I was very, very good. But she really inspired me to go through her stash. I mean, she very generously got rid of some awesome stash. And I say generously because I think that's yeah, you're getting paid for it. You're not getting paid near what you paid for it, number one. Number two, you're like realizing that these wonderful things that are sitting in your closet or in a box by your chair that you're not going to get to, or maybe you bought these wonderful things and then your taste changed. Someone out there, that might be their unicorn and they love it. So I'm all for passing that out, passing that along. So Thursday, a week from yesterday, Thursday, September 6th, I'm going to do the same thing. I've really was inspired by Tracy to start plucking through some of the stuff that I have. And I'm like, oh, I love this. Oh, I love it. Loving something and knowing that you're ever going to stitch it in this life, that can be 2 totally different lists, right? So part of my initiative to kind of declutter, clean up, downsize, and make room for things that I'm discovering that I love, that I didn't love when I was buying all of the Lizzie Kates and all of this stuff. So I was inspired. I've already got a whole box, got plenty to let go of. So stay tuned for that. That's going to be Thursday, September 6th at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. I know weekends work better for most people. They just don't work for us in our house where I can have any assistance on that. Then we usually have extra kids on the weekends. So it's going to be Thursday, the 6th, 7 p.m. Central Time on Facebook Live. Not Facebook Live. No, YouTube Live. Flosstube Live. It will be my first try at this. So if you're not there right on time, you probably won't miss much because I have to figure all that out still. But Tracy was encouraging and said, do it. So I'm going to do it. We'll talk more about that on that video. Oh, what else? Here, see, I said I have a list. What happens to me with lists is I have my list like all broke down into all these little areas and I can't keep up with what the heck I'm talking about. I do so much better on the fly. I feel like this episode of my Flosstube channel is really about things that have inspired me recently. So, Susical Stitcher inspired me with the Eat That Frog book. Deb and Liz and their Gadget Corner, I think that inspires a lot of us. One thing, unless I missed it, and I could have missed it, Liz, and I'm sorry if I did, but that's because I was probably multitasking attempting to multitask when watching the video, but they talked about ways to thread a needle. I totally learned a new technique. Thank you so much, Liz, with folding the thread over my needle and all that good stuff. But one gadget that I don't think that they showed, I actually come to love from, this is something that Robbie had in her situation. So this is called it's by Clover. It's a Clover. I need to put a little fob on it. They don't call it a needle threader for some reason. It's an embroidery threader. But the cool thing is it's metal. So it's like a little piece of bent sheet metal that you can just slip right into the end of your needle instead of one of those little like flimsy wires that Sarah is the worst with those little wires. She just pulls them right out and the wires fall out. Those little cheap coin threaders, even the more expensive ones. So you can find this on Amazon again. I haven't found it in a store ever. On Amazon, they're like $8, $8 or $9. But they have a nice little cover. Like I said, you can attach a little string or a fob there. When I have to use one, when my licking and sticking method doesn't work for whatever reason, this is what I resort to. So, wanted to share that. Inspiration from Deb and Liz. Deb, I'm a licker. Liz, I use this. So there you go. There's that. I was inspired also by Pam and Steph, as per usual. They made an awesome trip to a museum somewhere in Cincinnati. I forget the name of the museum, but they went to a Robert McCloskey exhibit. So as you guys may or may not know, Robert McCloskey wrote, and I'm sure illustrated. This is where I should have done my homework. It doesn't say, so I'm assuming yes. Yes, wrote and illustrated. I checked out Blueberries for Sal and Make Room for Ducklings. These were the two that the library had in stock, and you know what? Part of my I knew I was going to drop that. I'm so sorry. Part of my list making includes building in a little leisure time, because then I'm less distracted in the time that I actually need to be working. You'll find those tips in this lovely book. So I love to listen to my podcast, which I'll talk about later. I love my audiobooks, which we'll talk about later. I love reading, but sometimes you have 10 or 15 minutes. So I grabbed both of those books and brought them home, because it's been a long time since I've read Blueberries for Sal. I'm ashamed to say I've never read Make Way for Ducklings, but they'll illustrate, just to take a few minutes and sit outside, read, this very short story, and enjoy the illustrations seemed like a good deal to me. So check them out from the library. So that's what Pam and Steph inspired me to do. And, you can't talk about books and libraries without talking about Pam and without talking about Deb from Snug Harbor Crafts. Deb, I love your book segment. So many times I jot things down. I don't have grandbabies yet. My kids are too old to really enjoy these kind of books. It's like they're too old to enjoy them, but not old enough to enjoy them again, like I do. So thank you for I jot them all down. I put them in a list in my phone and say, oh, I've got to check these out at some point and read those. So thank you for sharing that. I think that's it on my inspirations. No, that's not it. I have two more. This video is a mess, but I'm not starting over because I'm already into it, right? That would not make good use of my time, and therefore I would not be allowed to eat another frog today. Okay, so Andrea in Colorado has become my spirit stitchy sister. We have the same taste. Every time I went way back in the recesses of her Flosstube videos, and I was really surprised how many things either she's worked on, is working on, wants to work on, that I'm right there with her, because I don't really, I think I did some bandwagon purchasing at the beginning of my cross-stitching, but now my tastes are just a little off the well-beaten path. But what's cool is when you get down those cross-stitching paths, even if they're not that well-beaten, there's usually people that are right there with you. So on my not-so-beaten path, Andrea showed this chart. Debbie Patrick's Kimberly Crest from Victorians Across America, and I died. I love it. So I bought some more. Some of them will be included in my de-stash sale because I did buy a few lots and I got some duplicates. They're so cheap. I bought this one directly from the designer, who does have a website, and she does charge actual printed price. So $5.95. $5.95, y'all. It's beautiful. I love it. And what's so cool is most of them, not all of them, but most of them will fit in an 8x10 or an 11x14 frame. So there's awesome ones on the back. Standard framing. Yes. So I love that one. That one's going in my plans, which I'll discuss shortly. I also love these two. Michelle from the Striped Rose, I don't know if you watch Flosstube because we need more videos from you. I know you're busy having a life and stitching beautiful things, but I love your videos. And I know you love pink houses. I don't know if you only love pink sampler houses or all pink houses, but boom. Look at this one. This, I love. And she has some which I don't have yet, and I say yet because I may have ordered some. She has some that are Christmas Victorians too, which are similar, you know, actual houses. She puts on the chart usually what where they're located, the street address for them. If you ever wanted to visit some of them, or if you have visited one and you're like, I wonder if there's a chart to stitch that, Debbie Patrick probably has it on her website. 200 of them. So I won't be buying all of them. And I don't love all of them the same. I do love this one though. And what she'll do is say, and this is just an example, she may have a home and then have a Christmas version where she has rendered it with all of the Christmas decorations. So the wreaths and the trees and the twinkles and all that stuff. So love, love, love. So those were some acquisitions. Yeah, I'm so out of order. I will not do a list again. Doing a list again just throws me off. I keep referencing it and I don't know where I'm at on it. And yeah, I'm a list maker, clearly not a list follower on a Flosstube video. What else? Okay, so we're going to call Debbie Patrick Stuff Haul. I don't think I pulled all of the ones that I purchased. I only purchased 6. So there's three more. I see them sitting way over there. I'm not going to get up and get them. You get the idea. You'll see them because they'll hopefully eventually make their way into whips. This one is an immediate whip plan. I have kitted it up already. This one is not far behind, and this one's pretty cool too. So it's worth taking a look at her website just to see if where you live, maybe. Those people who live in New Jersey, there are a ton of. She has done charts for a ton of houses in New Jersey. Many of them maybe you've actually seen or you could actually see, which would be cool. This is a haul purchase, not really stitchy related, but I guess it could be. I bought this on Amazon for $12. It's bamboo. I didn't really care. I didn't buy it because of how it looks or how that it's made of bamboo, but I bought it because the reviews were amazing. It's hard to get like almost 5 stars for over 1,000 reviews on Amazon, but it's a book rest. So it's adjustable. So since I'm taking a law class right now, I'm also taking compensation classes. They're just super, super case heavy where you're studying pages and pages of cases and taking notes off of them. And I'm finding myself like sitting here at the table, like looking up and leaning over for hours at a time. That doesn't make any sense. So you can use this for music. You could use this for stitchy patterns. You could use this for books. Let's see. Boom. You get it, right? It also has these really super strong tension like holders. So now nothing moves at all. I thought it was cool. It was really inexpensive and I used it all day yesterday while I was doing my homework and it was a game changer. So I know a lot of people do music stands, which is awesome, but I needed something a little more portable, and this guy folds up like so well constructed. Folds up very small, way smaller than even a laptop, and then I can just plop it right in my bag. So I will probably be taking this to the Midwest retreat because I thought about buying magnet board and all of that stuff, but honestly, I don't like stitch with that at home, so I don't think I need to do that. But this would be awesome because I can set my charts up on it. You can even turn it this way if you want it to be taller, and you can still turn these out. set it up that way and still hold your chart. So yes. Like I said, I'm not an Amazon affiliate, so I'm probably not going to go through the trouble of linking which actual one I purchased. But if you Google or Amazon search bamboo bookrest, this is the highest rated one. So you'll see it. You'll recognize all that. And it was here in like less than 2 days with Prime. It is dark as night outside, y'all. Dark. You can see how dark this is right here. That's dark. Okay. What else haul? Oh, where did I put them? You will love these. There's a cult following for, here they are. Pardon my reach. I was lucky. Managed to snag them. Bumblebee Dragon. Blue Dragon. Look at that sweet face. I don't even love dragons, and I love these. And oh, sweet little guy. So cute. So, Clay by Kim. I scored. I know how hard that is to do. She just randomly put stuff up. She put stuff up on Thursdays and then randomly throughout, and I've just happened to be in the right place at the right time to get all of these. So, super excited about those. So that's my Clay by Kim's for haul. I do have one thing somewhere. Okay, somebody sent me a package. I see it. I'm going to step away and get it. Hold on. This package came from Mount Juliet, Tennessee. Y'all, I have gone through my Etsy. I've gone through eBay. I don't know who this came from. I think someone may have been sending me some Stitchy kindness, but I want you to look. This is how it came to me. And just like this. Completely empty. Chewed up. It was initially, it was sent first class mail on 8/9, and I don't know what it was. So I thank you, someone somewhere, if you sent me Stitchy kindness, I went through my customer database. It just makes me sad because it was probably something awesome. So thank you for the effort. This looks like it was chewed up by the Postal Service through the sorting machine, possibly. So, I don't know. But, so I don't know what that was. The only other haul that I have, and I don't buy myself, what am I saying? Yes, I do. I was going to say I don't buy myself a lot of charts. I don't buy myself a lot of charts through distributors because I find what I'm really drawn to these days are stuff from like the late 80s and early 90s. And there's not a lot of that available, but Priscilla made me do this. Happy Christmas to all. Priscilla made me do it. Yeah. But, and I have it in my Nani Shark bag. I kitted this up with colors that are Victorian Motto. I didn't even get Victorian Motto from the last month, and the month before I had to like ask for my invoice because I think there's like some invoicing issues going on. So let's be honest, I have so much Victorian Motto. I could probably be okay if I didn't get any for a few months. I love it, but the skeins are so huge that I have plenty. These are my colors that I converted for, and they're coming up a little bit darker because it's so dark outside. There you go. These are the colors that I'm using for this. So I can't tell you what colors they are because these were free from Nancy, but clearly a Christmas red and a Christmas green. And then purple, very variegated, doesn't say what color purple. Audubon Medley I'm going to use for the branchy part of the foliage, and Garden Gate I'm going to use for the holly leaves. So it's going to be really cool. I've already started. I've got the word Christmas done, but it's on the snaps on the Lowry stand. I just had to make the choice not to disassemble all of that. I checked this out as well. Lincoln's Last Trial. Because Dan Abrams, I adore Dan Abrams. I love his wit. I love him on Live PD. I watch Live PD for Dan Abrams and the other hosts. I just thought this seemed cool. Lincoln's Last Trial, the murder case that propelled him to the presidency. It's not very big as books go. Will I read it? I don't know. I'm gonna try, but my classes are just really heavy. They're really research heavy because I'm in my last year. So senior level classes are, what am I saying? Most of you guys have already graduated college who are in our community, but yes, this is on the list for maybe. Now I've put my notes that I am not using very well somewhere. This video is totally distracted, but real life. Okay, so we talked about my haul. Debbie Patrick. Thank you, Andrea in Colorado, for that obsession. Clay by Kim, book stand, my empty envelope. I did finish a small, but I don't want to show it to you because I don't really know like retreat protocol. I finished my small for my smalls exchange for Minnesota for the Midwest Cross Stitchers retreat. I'm not 100% sure how I'm going to fully finish it yet, but y'all, it's so cute. I'm so proud of myself. I'm proud of myself because I started it and finished it in 2 days. There's really something. I can see how people like get small-itis because it was really satisfying and it's so cute. So I'm looking forward to creatively finishing that and seeing someone get that at the retreat. I told you I'm working on Christmas Road because Priscilla, I have the Christmas done, the Christmas word done. So that'll only take another couple days. She was working on it and I saw it on Instagram and I was like, wow, I'm not super into the Bent Creek Rose. And let me tell you why. Same thing, I don't really love the Lizzie Kate strings. They're so cute. I love to see other people's finishes of them. I love the long, narrow finish. I love how Priscilla has it like on an old window or something. So cute. But what I don't love are the constant color changes as a stitcher. Like, I feel like all I'm doing is licking, sticking, changing, licking, sticking, changing. So I saw this and I was like, that has only like 5 or 6 colors. So I was into that. So working on that. Books, I told you about Blueberries for Sal, Make Room for Ducklings, Eat That Frog, Dan Abrams. Okay, shop update. I don't have shop listing stuff to show you. I'm not going to list new items until Monday. I have a ton of new items in the shop, in my kitchen. But here's the deal. There is a coupon for free shipping over $25. I said it was going to only be through Friday, but I'm going to go ahead and extend that through the Labor Day weekend. So free shipping over $25 in the U.S. if you spend over $25 U.S. I can't do free shipping on international, as you can understand, but I will be happy to take, subtract the U.S. shipping cost from your total. In addition to that, I went a little crazy and I marked a bunch of stuff down. Some designers, I shouldn't say a lot, ask you not to discount their charts, which I 100% understand and support and do my very best to honor that. I think that's important. So the free shipping is a way to still kind of give you the discount without discounting the value of their charts. However, there are other designers who don't have any policy on that. So just to name a few, Teresa Kogut, all her charts I've marked down. Lizzie Kate, all that I have left I've marked down. And a bunch of other randoms. So make sure to check those out. Really scroll through. I know the website's set up kind of like where the newest stuff gets posted at the top. scroll, scroll, scroll. Look down in the recesses. Look on the side of your screen where it has, what does it call it? Those, I should know this word. It's my website. But basically collections, I think it is, where you can look up like Halloween, Christmas, samplers. Dig through there because I have done some pretty deep discounting on some charts that have just been sitting here for a while. And there's stuff that you guys are stitching and that you love. But part of my effort to be more organized and get everything lined up is I'm already thinking about market. I'm already thinking about all of the stuff I'm going to be bringing back to the shop from market, which I know that's a few months away. I'm thinking about all the stuff that I'm going to be bringing back for Christmas. I know that when I go to Stitchville, I'm going to see designers and charts that I say, wow, I love this. I need to carry it in my shop. And I just want to make actual physical room for that to be possible. So there's some pretty deep discounts in addition to free shipping. So if you haven't visited my site yet, it's www.gulfcoaststitches.com. Do it. Check it out. Like I said, I mean, with free shipping, it's the same, or it's makes everything about the same price as 123. I think 123 Stitch marks everything down 10%, but then you pay shipping. So if you have free shipping, same, right? Over $25 pretty much. I send everything U.S. Postal Service first class, so you have tracking. Sometimes things like this happen. This is not the fault of who sent this to me, just like it wouldn't be my fault if that happened to you. But for the most part, that tracking allows us to watch those packages pretty well. So, lots going on. Then I'm going to do the stash sale live on this channel on Thursday, September 6th, as I said, of my own stuff. And a lot of my stash is new. It will mess me up if a lot of it I purchased before I had the shop, and I don't want to, just for tax reasons and inventory reasons and all the reasons, I don't want those two things to mingle. So some stuff I may even sell for my stash that is in the shop, listed on the shop. So you'll score there too. Plans. Finish the Christmas. Happy Christmas to All by Bent Creek. Stitch a gift that I have lingering around, that, and I know Christmas is going to be here, like literally feels like tomorrow already. I need to stitch that gift. I need to finish my Enchanted Sleigh because I'm ready to take him out of timeout. I put him in timeout whenever one of the floss colors evaporated in my chair somewhere. And 'Tis the Season, Sal. I didn't bring my 'Tis the Season down here. Hold, please. Yes, I did. I didn't bring the book, but do we really need to see the book? We all know what it is. I did finally sell my last copy. I'll order it again, but it'll be a little while before I do that because everyone who's participating, we're ready to go. Okay, so here's my two fabric choices. I don't have my red. I'm doing it all in Belle Soie. I don't have the red because I gave it to Robbie to have another one upstairs. Which the red I decided was the Cupid. Is that right? Yeah. Okay, so my two colorway possibilities are this, which is Stone Belfast, which I'm leaning towards this being the winner. I wish I had the red because then you would really see it, but you know what red looks like. And then this is Stonehenge, which was a fabric of the month from Color and Cotton. So this one's like modelly, and this one is not. This one is like a taupe, and this one's gray. So the only hang up that I have, I absolutely love this Stonehenge. I just hope this is where I'm hung up, because so much of it is stitched in this vanilla pudding that I want to know that it's going to show up. So I just need to put a few test stitches in it. because this vanilla pudding on this taupe is gorgeous. So that's where I'm at. I have to tonight, right? I need to decide today or tomorrow because life is going to happen and then it's going to be Labor Day and I'm going to need to be stitching on this. So that's my plans. Finish my Christmas by Bent Creek. Make a small start on my Christmas gift stitch that I need to do. Put a few threads in Enchanted Sleigh and get going on 'Tis the Season. Okay. See, I look down a whole lot when I have a list, too. I should have totally used my book rest, and then I would have been doing this all the time and looking over here. I don't know that would have been any less weird. Okay. Let's talk about podcasts for a second, because, podcasts. Podcasts and pumpkin spice. It's back, y'all. Thank goodness. Okay. So I finished Up and Vanished, season 1. I talked about that last week, about the mysterious disappearance of Georgia school teacher Tara Grinstead. Fantastic. Season 2 came out 2 Mondays ago. So we're on this upcoming Monday, which is Labor Day, will be episode 3 of a new story. And I'm not as into it. It's good. I said that so flippant. Like, I don't mean to be that way. It's just that when you can binge listen to something, it really keeps your attention when you have to wait till every Monday. I know it's a first world problem, but it definitely, with all the other things I have going on, I feel like I need a refresher when I do that, to what happened in the last episode, which I'm not a fan of. So I may just hold off on Up and Vanish season 2 until the whole season has aired and then listen to it. That being said, there's another web podcast called Serial, which is in 2 seasons. One is a murder, one is a military mystery. Fantastic. I'm on the first one. The producers of that did one called S-Town. It's amazing. I thought Up and Vanished was the best podcast I'd ever listened to. I feel like S-Town may have had it beat, and here's why. S-Town starts out as a guy makes a phone call or sends an email to the producers and said, hey, there's this crime in this real small town I live in, and I feel like it's being covered up, and there's a lot of really high-powered players involved, and I want you to look into it. For whatever reason, they selected his story. They go and meet this guy, and the story takes a complete turn. If you're a writer or a producer of a story, this is your dream that this happens. If you're a reader of fiction, this reads like fiction, but this is true. So it turns out that the guy who that contacted the podcast, turns out that he is let me see if I say this right. It's right. I've seen it 1,000 times. An antiquitous horologist. I didn't know what that was, but I know everything there is to know about it now. It's a person who works on clocks, antique clocks. It's fascinating. So what turns out to be hey, let's investigate this murder mystery completely spins into a deep look into the man who called in the podcast's life. No spoilers. Do not look at social media or Google the guy's name, because you'll have spoilers of what all the things that he was involved in. But I will tell you that it is brilliant. It's wonderful. So that is called S-Town. There's some bad language. There's some adult content. There are lots of unsavory things that happen throughout the story. But what a beautiful story. What it reminds me of so much is just that notion that the randomest people that you would pass on the street or in a store or in S-Town, Alabama, can have some of the most interesting stories and backstories and lives. It's wonderful. It's great. So I encourage everyone to listen to S-Town. You can listen to it on a podcast player, or you can listen to it on their actual website, which I will take the time to link that below because I think it's that good. It's that cool. So you know how I always sometimes, there's a Southernism for you. Always sometimes, it's like that old Southern word, would you, did you? You didn't bring your notes, would you, did you? We say stuff like that. Lori, I know you get that. I just had a complete lost train squirrel. So every once in a while, I have these moments that I like to share with you guys where I feel like God or the universe or however you view the supreme like ties things together. It's kind of like that whole, 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon, however many degrees of Kevin Bacon, where everybody is connected at some level to Kevin Bacon in Hollywood. Well, some things like that happen to me, and I don't know if they happen to all of us. If they happen to you, I'd love to hear about them in your floss tubes or in the comments below. I talked to you all about, let's see, I think I've discussed like 3 things. The first one was when Michelle Garrett, who and I struck up a friendship, and we both received a Kingsland chart at the time that I really needed to feel connected to someone. Another one that happened was when I found the Sarah Brown sampler, and it was a mourning sampler for Joseph Brown, which would have been the name that I would have selected for the child that I lost. So that was cool. Just a neat tie-up. Well, S-Town has a connection to me too, and this is weird. I don't know if I can even articulate it. So when I was in high school, I had a lit teacher. This is going to be a ramble. If you're only here for stitching, thank you for showing up. I'm going to ramble a little bit about something other than stitching now. So I had a lit teacher in high school, a literature teacher who was fantastic at reading and was just a great orator. She would just take these stories, and we all dread the stories, and it's like, oh, here we go. And she would read them aloud in class, which to me, in the first few days of class, I thought, this is a horrendous waste of time. We have to read these all anyway on our own to take notes, and we could be doing so much more in our class time than being read to like a bunch of kindergartners. But she was so good at it. I mean, fantastic at it. That nobody was writing note. We didn't look at our cell phones back in those days. We passed notes to each other. You could have heard a pin drop when she started reading. It was fantastic. In fact, it was one of the best classes that I've had ever because of that. Well, she read us a story that was kind of gothic and kind of dark and had this like weird twisty ending. And I had been looking for this since 1990 when I was in this class. That's a lot of years ago. I've done plot search online. I've talked to librarians. We've done Google searches and word searches and theme searches and everything I could think of. The things that I could remember was someone slept next to a dead body. Sorry about that being graphic, but that's what I remember. I remember there being lye involved. Also weird. I remember there being flowers. That's all I could remember. So we're looking. I knew it was a short story because in this particular literature class, my teacher was fascinated with short stories. And I put it out of my mind after I searched here and there throughout the years. New software would come up, new search engines. I would plug it in randomly, never found it. So 2 summers ago, I had to take an elective, and I took a film class. The gentleman who taught my film class is his PhD, and part of having your PhD is staying published. So he had written several books, and because he was awesome and didn't want us to have to buy all of these books, he would just copy out the portions that he wrote that were his intellectual property and hand those out to us as flyers. just staple them together and hand them out. So about halfway through the semester, I flipped over. He did them double-sided. And on the second page, or the last page, the second side, was a doctoral thesis introduction on the story that I had looked for all those years, because I just thought it was so cool. I wanted to reread it again as an adult who had a different angle and appreciation for literature, and I wanted to read it for pleasure. And I was like, it was just one page of the back. It was the first page of the thesis, but in the first page I knew. So then I had to figure out, I had to go to that doctor, that professor, and say, where's the rest of that book? Because it didn't give me the title, but I knew in that first page of this guy's thesis, which was not my teacher, some other doctoral candidate, that this was the story he was discussing. So he said, let me dig through. I don't even know where that book is. I've used this in my class for years. He found it. Super long story short, it's A Rose for Emily by William Faulkner. A Rose for Emily by William Faulkner is available free PDF downloads all over the internet. All over the internet, anywhere you want to go. So how does that tie into S-Town? Well, without telling you about the story, because you would never see the twists and turns in that story coming, ever, ever, ever. It starts out as a crime podcast. It is not a crime podcast. I will tell you that. About halfway through the season, as the plot develops and takes a few turns, the kind of ending trailer song is a song by an unknown band I've never heard of. They kind of sound like the Beatles. The Beatles may have even done this song at one time, is a song, A Rose for Emily. So after you listen to like 10 episodes of this, when it comes on the end, you're like, it's kind of like, it's kind of like Stitchy tune. It gets in your head and you're like, okay, and you're kind of humming along the words. And I'm like, wait a minute. I'm sitting in the Chick-fil-A drive-thru, finishing up, I think it was on like chapter 6, maybe, on the podcast, texting Sarah Elliott, Stitchology. Watch her if you're not watching her. I'm texting her about it because I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this podcast has taken this turn, because we do that. And I was listening and I was like, oh my gosh, A Rose for Emily. Like, why didn't I make that connection? So that's my weird little goosebump moment. It doesn't have as much meaning to anyone out there listening as it does for me, but I was moved by that story in the 90s. I searched for it without any luck all of those years. Showed up to me randomly in a film class when I was 40 years old. Then shows up again at the end of a podcast as a song trailer. So I hear you loud and clear, universe. I'm going to read A Rose for Emily again, probably tonight. It's short. You could read. It's like, I don't know how many pages. It's a short story. So, only other book I want to talk about is another short story that is my favorite short story of all time. I have listened on audio, free on YouTube, read it in that lit class. My favorite short story of all time is called The Lottery by Shirley Jackson. I love it for the same reason I love A Rose for Emily. And for the same reason that I love S-Town. Like, you think about winning a lottery. That sounds like a pretty good deal for most of us, right? Most of us would love to win the lottery. We sit and think about what kind of amazing she shed or stitchy palace could we have if we won the lottery. But that's assuming that the prize for winning the lottery is a positive one. So Shirley Jackson's lottery takes a totally different view on that. Great audio, free audio on YouTube if you want to look that up. So I thought a lot about this, like as I'm driving back and forth from Niceville, which takes me about 35-40 minutes. I'm thinking about, why do I love short stories so much? And I think it's because I realize now as an adult who has a ton, I have enough college education to have my PhD. It's just not all like concurrent in the same along the same career paths. I think now as an adult, I realize it's kind of like watching a movie, right? Because a movie can kind of be directed in two ways. You can have a 2-hour window into someone's life and their human experience, a 2-hour window of time, or you can have their entire experience condensed into 2 hours. Either way, you get 2 hours of the story and that's it. So your mind's left to fill the before or the after, unless it's compressed, and then your mind is left to fill in a ton of detail in the middle. Well, that's the same thing for a short story. If a short story gives you 15 or 20 pages at tops, I don't even really know like what constitutes a story being short. If there's a specific guideline, I'm sure there is. But you have to be pretty talented to be able to plop someone into the middle of someone else's experience and get it all told in that short amount of time, or to tell us what you want us to. So I think that's the same reason I love movies so much, and I'm such a fan of theater. I'm such a fan of cinema. It's for that same reason, because it's amazing what we can garner from just a short window into someone else's experience. So that's it. That's all my rambling. That was about 10 minutes of extras. So The Lottery by Shirley Jackson and A Rose for Emily by William Faulkner. If you're going to listen to S-Town, don't read A Rose for Emily first, because it may give you some clues onto what kind of turns are coming for S-Town. But, I mean, it's so good. I'm surprised it hasn't surpassed Serial for podcasting awards, because Serial's fantastic too, but I love it. I can't tell you guys enough about it. I wish I could send it to every one of you. I would. So that's it. Have a great stitchy week. I'm sorry this was so chaotic, but hey, this is real life. I've got stuff to do. I'm going to clean up this mess that is around me, because isn't that always the way in a Flosstube video? We're surrounded by mess. I'm going to clean this mess up, have me a snack, and start on my law homework. So I hope y'all have a wonderful week. I hope I see you all on Thursday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time for my live sale. I promise there'll be good stuff that'd be worth watching for. And don't forget to check out the sale at the shop. Okay? Love you guys. Bye.